Hey, what's happening? Doug here. Got some stuff I'd like to share with you from a couple pages of my book, kind of covering how things were made and purposes of life, that kind of jazz is in this book. I've had a few of these made now. I plan to make 40 in my life. I've done six and sent them out to key places in the world or people. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's just hop into it, all right? So basically, when things were kind of getting made in the first place, way back when, the boss, who is the universe itself, Jehovah Elohim, basically diverged himself into a matter of angels, so like 21 or so, a certain amount of them. And of that, the people that could absorb most of the abilities, in this case, the Son of God, Jesus, and so on and so forth, in that order, he definitely absorbed the most, were chosen to be his main people. You know, the right hand and the left hand, and so on and so forth, to better manage the universe. And then ultimately, we're part of that too. Like, we're offshoots of the angels or the Father as well. We're, soul fragments. We all share the exact same birthday. So, long story short, we all come from him one way or another, even if our ration of soul or ectoplasm, whatever you want to call it, is, what you experience down here. You're very old. We all are. And your celestial awards, he talks about that no moth can touch, or whatever the passage is. He's talking about the abilities, your ability to craft, your physical extreme capabilities. We're designed all to be in far better shape than we are now. But obviously the enemy's done a great amount of harm to us, such as making us mortal, among many other things in sin. So you have so much more that you're going to be able to do when the time comes. But we're not there yet. This page here, that's just kind of some quick background of existence, how it started. But the boss here, his name, when he crafted his own name, is just about love itself. So have joy and love him, Jehovah Elohim. You can read it as Alpha, Omega, forward or backwards. Joy haveth and love him, Elohim. Or have joy and love him. You can read it either way. I don't know if the mouse cursor is popping up when I do this here, but it goes both ways. So it's all circular with the spheres, the planets, and everything, the stars, and how the Father designed everything, because it's endless. There's an endless story. It never ends. Those things aren't square, or left to right. It's all eternal. Time, death, sin, all these things are things that don't exist to him. Same with the sun and all that. But yeah, long story short, there's only one enemy really in existence who messed everything up. So he doesn't need any credence or any verbal communicate of who he is. We all know who he is. But basically, as part of the plan is he's more of a friend. He's never meant to be a god or worshipped. That's all like religious baloney. And as you can see, people kind of stay together in community and caring. Everyone's supposed to be a person here. And, you kind of supercharge each other, if that kind of makes sense here. So that's kind of how that works. There's another one I have here on that. Yeah, see, it's like a soul recharger. So you're part of the community, you're helping each other out, and that's how it works. That's the power of that, or churches too. The problem is, like religion, the pollution of that and such is where you have problems. So some of the worst people come from religion too. So, case in point, they took all the prophets down, even the Holy Son of God. You gotta be careful who you hang around with. But, whatever works for you, makes you feel better, is what counts, because your heart, your soul, it determines everything. So this is an example of kind of the enemy's plan. He's pretty good about using many ways and tools, news media, you name it, and you know what I'm talking about. iPhone's another good example. You can spend a lot of time, have this thing suck your life out of you and pull you away from being out there in the world and helping people, or having people help you. So something to consider. But that's essentially the enemy's little plan here, is to break everything off. Or if he can't pull you to his will, and it's too difficult for you while you're down here to stay as part of the community, then you can, it's not a pleasant topic. Then you pass, or natural passing on, and you just go back to the heavens and get away from the madness. It's that's kind of how he works. So if he can't have you, he'll do anything he can to remove you if possible. So he's a nasty SOB. It's unfortunate, but we have to deal with him. He's really, ignore all the stuff they say about all these demons and fallen angels and whatnot. It's a lot of baloney. It took a while, but after they determined it was safe, the high heavens and the Father stepping off the throne, giving it to the Holy Son, while he's come down himself in secret to manage stuff and figure stuff out, experience all this stuff, is able also to retrieve the ones that are misled by Lucy, who betrayed people as a left hand of God, third in command. So kind of screwed everything up. But of course, it's no easy chore for him. He's got essentially he has to make a decision to surrender, and it doesn't sound like, because I've been hearing the two of them talk to each other. So my name's Douglas Christopher Giel. I've essentially been made into kind of like an office building, you could say. So your God's last offer of Christ to the Great Liar. That's my full name, essentially broken down. So I'm not special. I'm quite normal. Screwed things up just like you. We all do. But I've heard the two of them have a bunch of conversations with each other, which they haven't had to do, or an opportunity to do in a very long time. And only a couple things I can say. Very little I can say about that. It's to make clear what I can and can't say. So, but doing this book was a must, and the enemy really didn't want me to, and said many things, but that wasn't going to happen. It's all the more reason to do this, regardless of the stuff he says and the threats. So, here's another good example. There's a couple parables I've been shown and taught of stuff that was lost to the ages and not recorded in text. There's a parable with the son between two various people of authority, but basically just kind of instructing them to take a couple seconds to remove, there's like beans or something from a wet jar or something. In this case, I did marbles. And you got 5 seconds to do it, pull them out while putting your own stuff in there. Essentially societal problems you're removing and whatnot. It's just fascinating. It is described more in detail in the book. And then the enemy doesn't care about any system, even though they're all bad, they're all human, they're not circular and perfect. That's just how it is, right? You got your hierarchy up here and you got your problems down, your lower rung areas of the society here, and all the politicians and government people work in the top and decide what's important. And that's kind of how it is, and everyone else just has to kind of wait their turn. Anyways, a lot of stuff to digest. I'm not going to go in detail, but the enemy just doesn't care what it is. Anarchy is his way of doing things, or let's see our stuff, socialism, all that stuff. It's all systems are bad, no question about that, because we don't have the Father and Son down here. But anything's better than chaos and anarchy or war and all that. Those are the absolute worst. And let's not talk about a lot of stuff going on out there right now. It's crazy. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, just a really fast run through of a couple pages of importance in the book. It's kind of all in your hands, whether you want to follow the right hand, the Holy Son, the good in your heart. That's the only thing you need to know in existence in life, is feeling good, being good, caring for others. That's all that matters. It's one of the hardest lessons you ever hear, is that love is the only thing that even exists, and it's true. It's a very difficult lesson to digest, but it's the truth. And it's important to know that you really are a soul that's been around for all time. You just may not be made aware of that, because the enemy can convolute and hide stuff very well, the left hand. So, but yeah, the enemies who we're all against, and we need to unite against him. And if he doesn't surrender at some point, then, because the timer's ticking, that's kind of the purpose of this book, is to serve as like a kind of an eviction notice to him, that he has to comply. Otherwise, the reason you hear about fire and brimstone, all that stuff in the Bible, is because angels are revealed through fire. So that's the reason the Son will come back down the second coming. And it's not a pleasant topic, and to burn and find him. Of course, all life, ignore all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff in Revelation that's just not correct. So disciples, apostles, whatnot, they're all, and myself, we're all human. So we're all influenced by the good and bad and visions and whatnot. But the Son of God, you can't do that. He's perfect. So that's why the enemy had to manifest and appear in front of him and do those quote-unquote temptations in the desert. So anyways, thanks for hanging out. There's a lot of stuff to read in here. And I do sell USB drives, just a couple bucks, shipping if you're interested. There's no real money in it at all. But if you're one of the few people that wants a copy of the book, that'd be great. I do sell them every once in a blue moon. So, and we'll take it from there. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, just go ahead and text, call, email. Ciao.